All right. Looks like we're live on YouTube. Looks like we're live on Facebook, and Twitch is doing its thing. Get my mic situated real quick. Okay, that's pretty good. Now, I've never done this this way before, but I should probably start every stream just on the website talking about exactly what this project is for those who don't know. So this is called Bonsai. It's really my first digital product. My company is jackalope.io, and it is a learning management system. So you could compare it to Teachable or Skillshare, even Udemy. Skillshare and Udemy, that's different because that's actually more of a marketplace, whereas Teachable, Kajabi, there's so many different LMSs. They don't really work as a marketplace. I'm gonna close the window real quick. Got some construction. So this is the kind of LMS that doesn't really work as a marketplace. It doesn't sell your product for you. That's your job. But what it does is, let me turn Do Not Disturb off, on. It gives you the same platform. It gives you your own platform. Now, Skillshare says it's customizable. Teachable says it's customizable. And that's kind of like a half-truth. Like, you can change some colors, but if you want to do some true customization, you can't. You can't even have control of your own checkout in the process because that's done on their website. So this is like the enterprise or like deluxe version, I would say. It's still a MVP, which is a minimum viable product. And I'm about 4 months in. You can see right here I'm on version 4, so I'm doing a new version each month. We started in alpha, and right now we're in private beta. Now part of this private beta was once I got it up and running with my course, which teaches you how to build it, I want to apply it to an enterprise level client, somebody that has real students that can test it out, and we can start working out all the kinks, getting it running smoothly. So these are the packages for learning how to build it yourself, and then there will also be like an enterprise level, and that's what I'm working on right now. So I'll also give you a look at this video. I'm covering the screen. Silly me. Amateur hour over here. Okay, so I was just showing over the website, this is the version right here. This is the Notion roadmap. You can find a lot of resources about the company in there. Also, Trello correlates with a lot of the courses. You can find the courses for free, and here the master class is $5 a month. So you can see the price in here, and then this is the enterprise level that I was talking about. So that's what we're working on right now. And let me just show you the quick video that I've put together. Hopefully this song doesn't get flagged. Turn it down a little bit. So you could create whatever you want with this. It could work as like a Patreon type of membership, or it could be private paid content. It is pretty much 100% customizable. It's just a little, you might need to know how to customize it. And about 90% hands-free creation. As you see me clicking some buttons, but then the scripts run, and the scripts do the majority of it. Bonsai LMS. Originally called Project Bonsai until Microsoft launched something called Project Bonsai the same week that I did. Okay. So today we are taking the future, which is a Webflow site, and we're going to stylize Bonsai to look more like the future. So as you can see in here in Webalizer, we have Webflow page builder, and I mean, I already knew that otherwise, but I had them send me the exported code from Webflow because Webflow will export code for you. The problem is, as far as I know, you can only do it in CSS, and we use SCSS in Bonsai or SaaS, and you can really clean up a lot of lines of code. The output CSS is still going to be the same size, but when you're working within the SCSS, you can really clean it up a lot. So that's what I'm working on right now. It's not the most fun process to watch, but I don't think there's anything about building software that's like fun to watch. So I don't know what you're expecting, if that's what you wanted. But I'm going to be going through the code and cleaning it all up, taking all of this Webflow CSS, converting it to SCSS. And then I have this thing called a style linter within Bonsai, and it's really strict. So it makes sure that all of the code is written uniformly, spaces and tabs and empty lines and capital letters, and everything is all uniform. And that makes it even more tedious, but it makes it really clean. So that's mostly what I'm going to be doing today, and if I can get done with that, then we'll start working on actually building some pages. So I guess that's when it would start getting more fun, but I have to really get through this process first because it's really saving me about a week's worth of work to just clean up this code. Otherwise, I'd have to write it myself from scratch, and that's a lot more time consuming than just cleaning this up, even though it's tedious as hell. So I'm just opening up my iTerm, coming into my little shortcuts I've saved here. This will vagrant up the machine, the virtual machine, and then this will just take us to our scripts directory, which is a good place to be sometimes. And then finally, once it's vagranted up, I will run yarn run start, and that will start the live reload in the browser that's connected to all of the code. So I can go into, make sure GitHub's opened up. And then from the project, you can do a shortcut, Shift Command A, to open it up in Atom. And now when you change this source code, it will live update in your browser. Let me just get these organized. Okay, and once this asks for a password, should be about booted up. Okay. Now I'm just gonna come into this other tab and run yarn run start. That starts up Webpack and live reload. So that should launch up our browser when it's all done. Just gonna get myself some coffee. Okay, so this has the Webflow code built into it as well. So that's why it looks kind of messed up compared to the regular homepage. But we're not even going to be doing a homepage for the future for now. They're going to be using this site as the front end because they can do it all in Webflow. We won't have to worry about this import-export process. And the thing is, if you go to buy one of their courses, okay, let's even say bootcamp, they'll have a landing page here, also on Webflow. Take a look at this URL. So let's say we want to buy it. Okay, this one doesn't look like you can even buy it straight from here. So let's use a different example. Style guide kit. Learn shop. Buy now. Okay, this looks like it could be teachable right here. This is still Webflow. Once we click buy now, I believe it will take us to, yeah, you'll see it changes to teachable. And now it's a black box and they can't really get any useful data out of this other than if someone completed the payment or not. So that's one of the huge flaws of Teachable. I don't know why they don't let people just process their own transactions, but that's why we're here. So basically this is where Bonsai is going to be taking over for now. And then eventually it might also serve as a landing page or a home page, but we're going to start here. So that's really it as far as once we get started building the pages. We'll probably start there because we don't want to waste the time building a bunch of pages that aren't going to be used at first. And anyway, so that has that Webflow code built into it right here. So that's why it looks a little messed up. If I wanted things to go back to normal, I could just come into the project site, web, app, themes, Bonsai, assets, styles, the future. Actually, I'd come into just main, and then, well, I guess I linked it in Leaf. Leaf is my own custom style. Did I do that? No. Where did I put it? Main. Leaf main. Where did I link that in? Because we have all of these are linked in through main under the future. And then Oh, okay. It's right here at the bottom. I thought I put it up higher. Anyway, so if I just wanted to undo all of that, then I could save that. And then give this a second to compile. One thing I really hope in the next version of the Roots project is that it can somehow speed up this compiling process. Without live streaming, it usually takes my computer about 15 seconds, and this computer's definitely not lacking. So when I am live streaming, it goes to about 25 seconds or 30 seconds to compile. It's kind of annoying. That's why I do a lot of my development in the browser, and I'll just work in here and change lines of code, then copy it, and then bring a bunch over and save it all at once. That way I don't have to be waiting for the 30 seconds, or it's usually 15 seconds, but still. All right, so did that work? Yeah, so everything's back to normal now. I'm gonna come into, first we'll undo that, and then we're gonna come into the future, and let's see, we can just delete this one. Because it was one huge file, and then I split it into these tiny partials, so it's way more organized. So it goes Webflow, global, video, buttons, forms, footer. And then let's open up the original Webflow export. Can't remember exactly where I put this. Here we go. Okay, so we have oh, they do have it in SCSS. I don't know how I looked over that yesterday. Ooh, maybe that's what I was using. Why are they both commented out? This one's uncommented at line 1000. Okay, these are the same. Cool, I'll just be using the SCSS file, so I think that's the one I was using anyways. But I don't know why there's this right there. Footer, link. So did I get all of it? I thought there was 30,000 lines of code. Yeah. I think I just got through like the first 1,000 lines or something. What? Okay, come on. This is ridiculous. I don't know. This isn't like terribly lot of redundancies that I'll have right here. All of these. This is just ridiculous. Like, there's no reason to have an SCSS file. This big Webflow. You ever heard of organization? I can't even scroll through this. It's so long. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna bring back this SCSS file. How do I do that again? There we go. And okay, I think this is just, I think that was the first 1,000 lines of code that I got through or something like that. And so now we should have, yeah. So we're going to take all of this, copy it into here. Come up here to the top. And, okay, this is probably going to break my computer, so let's just do 1,000 lines again. I think I broke it. Damn it. Ooh, there we go. Okay. Okay. Takes forever to even save. So yeah, that'd be one of the difficulties. I know there's a tool that does this automatically. It will take a Webflow site And if it's some type of WordPress plugin, it'll import it to WordPress. Unless there's a way to organize the SCSS or the CSS files better, all the style sheets, I think that'd be a mess. Like, this is a necessary step that has to go through it. So I need to use Webflow a little more and see if there's ways to keep things a little more organized. But when your text editor can't even save a file because it's so big, 30,000 lines of code, I don't think I work with one file that's even close to that big. So it's kind of an issue, but we'll find a solution for it. So now if we come back here, it says it compiled successfully, but that's because we don't have this file plugged in yet. So let's come into main and we'll say future. Now, the amount of errors this is going to throw is probably going to break my computer again. Let's see. Okay, well, we can start at find this line. All this inline SVG stuff in the CSS, we should be able to get rid of most of it and just do inline SVG inside of the PHP. So let me just find that line. Comment it out so we can still remember where to put it back once we fix it. Hey Victor, what's up, man? I didn't see your comment till now, so I don't know if you're still there. But I am just working on this Webflow CSS file that I exported. Now, actually, the future exported it for me, and it is 30,000 lines. Like my computer can't even handle it. And it's not perfectly organized either, so I'm trying to figure out what I should do about that. I don't even know. I probably don't even need most of it. So this will be fun today. Okay. So there's a way to disable style lint. I usually don't like to do that in something in production. But it's going to save me a ton of time to figure out what I need and what I don't need of this code. I would hate to go through all 30,000 lines of code, cleaning it all up for the style linter, just to find out that I don't actually need it. I probably don't need like 80 or 90% of it. So, I don't know. I kind of just do want to code it from scratch, all the styles. Because like I said, I'm not actually doing the front end of the site yet. All I'm doing is Yeah, all I'm doing is this part, and this isn't even on their website. It's not even on their own Teachable site. It's on Teachable's site. This is like Teachable's checkout process. So we really have two options, because as you'll notice on my version of Bonsai, there really is no checkout process other than this modal window. But I feel like if I design the page just to put a modal window on top of it, then like that's the ideal version, because you don't even have to leave the page to check out, and it's hidden away. But they'll lose all their flexibility with Webflow, and I know they really like that right now. So I'm thinking what we do is we keep their process the exact same, except it goes from landing page to Bonsai checkout, which I think is probably the most important part to them. Like, this is the yeah, this is where you apply the 80-20 of the focus, because I can apply 20% of my focus, just instead of doing the landing pages and everything, I can apply 20% of that effort right here and get 80% of the results. Because what they really need right now is a good checkout process for all of this. And I think Webflow is on the cusp of being able to do that with their e-commerce, but then you still have the problem of having to integrate it somehow with APIs or databases, integrating that with the LMS, because I don't see Webflow going with an LMS functionality. I don't know. I guess I could see it being hacked together. I don't think they would call it an LMS. I could really see Webflow introducing some type of e-commerce paid product type of subscription, which would essentially be the same thing. I don't think they'd focus on all quizzing and certification, but I don't know. Let's just say in the next 5 years, Webflow could potentially get there. I can make this happen in the next week or two. So I'm going to focus all of this right here on the checkout process first. And if you look at this checkout process right here, this is ugly. So, I mean, it's not ugly, but clearly this is not like the future compared to this. This is really clean. So what if I made the checkout feel exactly like it was part of this site? That's what I want to do. And the thing is, I don't really think I need these 30,000 lines of code to do it. Because Bonsai already looks fairly similar to this, I'll just have to change out the fonts. I don't think I'm going to have to do anything fancy like this for the first iteration. I just want the nav to look almost exactly the same. And it kind of does, if you think about it. I never really realized that. And I told them I was going to do a dark mode for them, But for now, I might even just keep it as is and then try the dark mode later. Yeah, I like that. That's really cool. So we'll definitely have some dark mode elements to it, but I don't even think I have to fully make a dark mode for it yet. So that's what I'm gonna do. At least this is helpful for down the road if I decide to do the full landing pages. I've got all this code and I've at least started cleaning it up. But yeah, as for now, we're gonna completely ignore all that. It's just a mess. I would rather build it clean from scratch. Okay, we can close out of this. Won't be referring to that anymore. So we've changed the plan a little bit of what we're going to do on this stream today. I think it's entirely for the better. It's also going to be less boring to watch because we're going to be coming in here. We're going to be digging into the inspector, borrowing some code, including it into our project, and kind of matching two pages to look the same. So now that we've got that set, I'm just going to take a quick little break. Go to the bathroom real quick. Then when I get back in about 5 minutes, we will just dig into this. All right. I'm back. There we go. So we've decided that we're changing directions because I don't want to organize 30,000 lines of code that were exported from Webflow, and I want everything to be really organized. So I'm just gonna write it from scratch. And the other big part of that decision is because I have all this Webflow code right here, and really for the private beta for the future, the first thing we're going to do is actually leave this page as part of their Webflow, and then when you click buy now, this directs to their teachable checkout, which is a black box because you can't actually like put your own analytics tracking in this because it's all on Teachable's server, not the actual LMS part of it. So we're going to be seeing how well we can replicate this. I don't think it really needs to be laid out like this per se. We could try and go with a much cleaner style, maybe a little more modern. I'm thinking like centered, something that'll work really well on mobile and look really clean on desktop. Something similar to this. Actually, I'll probably just take that exact same component and use that for now. So we're going to focus on this first, building this from scratch. The thing is, the checkout process is going to be a little bit different than Bonsai because, as you can see, this doesn't redirect to a new page. This is just a modal pop-up. So it's a one-page checkout process. And we want to leave this for them on Webflow so that they can be making constant changes to it. But we also want quick checkout process. So we'll start with this and we'll see where we go. I kind of just like to code on the fly sometimes. So I'm gonna eventually script all of this out so these pages are created automatically. How that would be done is you go into your scripts folder, and here we have development. This is where everything was created, like these pages, all the posts. So this is a post, that one was update, this one was create. These are linking them to page templates. We'll do the same thing. So let's come into instead of assets, it's views, and I'm not certain yet if we want to have a different checkout page for each product or if there would be an advantage to having a single checkout page that you can check out multiple products. For now, let's start with a single checkout page because then we can duplicate it from there. So this one's a post, this one's a page. Let's create it as a page. So I'll just copy this line from docs right here. And I'm actually going to comment these out because we're not really using them at the moment. I want to customize this script for the future, so I'm going to be rebuilding this site multiple times. Next time I want to run the script, I want it to automatically create all the pages I want. So instead of template blog, this will be checkout. And we need to create that page. And then this will be change the name of it. Then we come up to layouts. Which one was that? Layouts, docs. I don't even have that, so I think it's just default into app. So we can just duplicate app, which is the default one. We'll call it checkout. Yeah, we'll just have this slightly different for now because we don't want this accordion in there. No, that'll probably be removed anyway. So let's simplify things. We can get rid of checkout and we'll just do app. So now this is routing through our default page template, and where this says yield content, we're going to come into okay, for now we'll keep that the same. That yields the content from the actual page. So if we come back into development, we take this line of code. It's going to be called checkout. And then I like to run these tests. Let's see if I can get Yarn to start back up. I should have gotten rid of all of that messy CSS. So to run the scripts, you come into this scripts directory right here, which is under sites, the future site scripts. And we're going to run this command that we just copied. Before we do that, when I come into weird, it should have changed my username. Well, that's an easy fix. Alright, so I just wanted to come into here so we can kind of see a visual of what's happening here. Oh, I need to remember to update to 5.5.1 before tonight. Okay. Docs, home, podcast, privacy policy. So if we open this up, run this command. Created post 9. If I refresh this, you should see checkout right here. And then I know the block editor. Okay. And here we're going to do gravity forms. Select a form, Bonsai form. So we'll be updating this form eventually to be all the payment info, and it works off of this form. So we'll leave it as Bonsai form for now, just for testing purposes. Update this. So now if I go to checkout, looks like the styles aren't loading correctly. Yeah, it's still pulling from that for some reason. Let's see what's going on. Alright, just open up assets, styles, feature, main. Yeah, it should not be pulling that anymore. Why is it doing that? Look, it's still pulling from that file. Well, it's commented out. I'm just going to delete it for now. Okay, that fixed it. Now it looks all messy because I still have these other files. I'm going to keep them for now, I'll just comment them out because those were also imported from Webflow. In fact, we'll leave those be, but just come into here and comment this line out. Okie dokie. That's working now. So this will be the foundation of the checkout page. I still don't know the best way that I'm going to do this, but I'd like to be implementing these changes along the way to the real Bonsai project on GitHub, the open source version. I think a checkout page is going to be something everybody will want, whether it's used or not. So let's come into scripts, development, and I'll leave this commented out for now. This way I'll remember to implement it. And staging, yeah, that's just done through database migration. So I don't need to update that. But that'll create one more page. So that creates some issues in these ID numbers. Once you change something, everything downstream from it might need to be adjusted on the ID number. So from development, I don't think there's any in staging, but then when you get into the master class, there's product that has an ID number, and Sensei has a bunch of ID numbers. So I probably have to add a number to all of those just for adding one page early upstream. If that makes sense. So that's why I'm going to leave it commented out for now. But that creates our checkout page. And then, yeah, we'll probably want to customize this. So we'll probably just hard code it for now, for most of it. We can still use, okay, we'll come into resources, views, and under layouts, we're using app. We're just going to duplicate this and call this checkout. we'll be using a different accordion. So for now, just keep that for now. Okay, let's refer back to the page that we're going to be borrowing from. So we've got this black bar up here. I don't think it needs to be black at all. In fact, the bar on the Futures Webflow site is white. I also want to be referring to Masterclass for design inspiration. Which is pretty much all dark mode, as far as I know. Alright, we're going to want it easy to change. So it really doesn't matter which one we go with right now. Let's leave it white for now, just since that'll require the least amount of change at the moment. Then I can I'll make a light mode and a dark mode SCSS file. So basically you could swap either one out really quickly. And you just change a few lines of code really. Okay, so why is this shadow missing? Is this in a card? Yeah. And then I did make some change. I might have accidentally made a change. Did it affect the home page? Yeah. I mean, that does look pretty clean without the shadow. But let's see, where did I make that change? It was just an accident. I was just trying to see if it was working yesterday. So that would have been under Assets, Styles, Leaf, Common, Global, I think. No. Here we go. It's right here. Bootstrap. I do really like it without that shadow too, but I think it's slightly better with it. Could probably tone it down a notch. It's already pretty subtle, but anyways, we'll do that later. So come back to checkout. All right. So we can think of how we might want to customize this sidebar later. For now, I want to see what masterclass's checkout process looks like. So you click get started, as a mode will pop up. I already have an account, but I'm just gonna start a new one so I can see brand new. Okay, so you sign into your Google, which is another feature that we could allow. Total bill today, 180. Yep, just takes a card number. Simple as that. Bonsai does email, card number, and cardholder name. I could remove the email and put it in another step, but I think the email is really valuable. It's the first thing that we have here in this basic version. But they did it through Google or Facebook sign in, which is cool. We could also do Apple sign in. I'll probably do that months down the road. So for now, we'll just leave it as an email. But I really like how clean this is. It's just a card number. 30-day money back guarantee. Secure with SSL. Satisfaction guaranteed. Okay. It's so simple. It's pretty similar to Bonsai as well. I would say Bonsai is even a little cleaner, because this kind of looks harsh on the eyes. Looks like it's embedded from somewhere else. Let's see if they have another checkout process. Masterclass Live. What is that? Interesting. Classes. Does that not work? I guess we're in the Course Explorer. So this is more like a single page app. I wonder what it's built in. React and Angular, so I'm not sure. Some weird combination. But yeah, it's pretty similar to Bonsai right now. They only have one checkout process. That's all I have included in Bonsai, but now the future is probably going to need a checkout process with its own page. So the question is, do we do one single page? With multiple products on one page. I think one cool thing about doing individual pages is it would be easier to allow like upsells in the sidebar. I guess for now, let's just do one page. So I'll find a way for it to dynamically pull up the correct product that we want on that page. And then we'll have some little upsells or like testimonials or something in the right column here. Would be cool if there was kind of a progress bar or like a quick checkout. I think we could allow Apple Pay, and I mean there's Amazon Pay, there's Google Pay, I think. There's a bunch of ones. For now, let's not focus on getting too fancy, but this right hand sidebar is going to be something cool. So let's borrow some scripts real quick from come into product. I mean, maybe we'll just run this form Bonsai product. Let's see what happens if we just run the product shell script. I don't want to jump to there yet because I gotta follow my own documentation to make sure that it's solid. So let's pull that up. Okay, so we've done the quick setup, we've configured Bonsai, we've created the local environment, we've deployed to the staging site. We're going to hold off on the production site for now until we have a final, till we have access to the domain. And then we do advanced configuration, security, and email. We'll be doing that later. So that doesn't take any ID numbers up. Then we create a product and set up Sensei LMS. Now this is the masterclass stuff. I'm just going to show you guys how to do it on YouTube. It's kind of harder to put together in a live stream like this than it might from the super condensed edited versions on the website. So I'm not really afraid to show off some of the masterclass on the YouTube live streams at all. So let's check this out. Okay, we have create a product and set up Sensei LMS. Now I just want to get a checkout form that has like real credit card stuff in it, so we're going to come into create a product. So you should have already done the Bonsai speedrun at this point, which is how we have a working staging website at future.jackalope.io. And the solo sprint is something I'll cover more in the masterclass later if people want to know more about this process. I have a Medium article on it. You can find it under my Medium articles probably. How to do a solo sprint. It's kind of more of coming up with which product to sell. And I mean, that's really one of the hardest parts before actually creating a online masterclass or an LMS that sells some type of knowledge product. You like really need to put a lot of time into thinking what you're going to build and if people are going to find it valuable. So I've already done that at this point. I like to install Hotjar on the site so I can start watching the user experience. You can kind of gauge which products people are most interested in. I'm going to cover that in the masterclass as well. I think I already have videos recorded for all that stuff. try to collect 100 visitors. I've probably brought like, I don't know, maybe 10, 20 times that to Bonsai by now, so I have a lot of good data. Review the Hotjar recordings, decide on a product, buy or trial Gravity Forms. So you're really gonna need the developer license for Gravity Forms to get this next part done. That enables us to do like the one-page checkout process through Stripe and some other cool stuff. So, okay, first we're gonna need a add pricing to homepage. So this should already be here. Let me just check the homepage real quick. Okay, it's already included. I might remove this step. Run product.sh. So make sure that you already have permission to run this. We did that in yesterday's tutorial. So we have this product script, and before I run anything, I'll always just come in here, take a look at it, and form update. So this is creating a Gravity form, and it's actually updating form 1, so we're not creating an additional form, we're just updating the original email form, which can be found right here. It's just an email address. And now it's going to take this JSON file, which is under where did I put it? Update form bonsai product.json. So let's run this first. I don't think it's going to work, because I don't think I have that file in here for some reason yet. So let me run that under scripts. Please check the path. Okay, so I don't have that. So here I will open up Bonsai examples, really my latest test version of everything. It's what I run the example site off of. So I'll come into, look under here, just config, no. Oh, I'm missing my content file in here as well, because I accidentally drag and dropped it into here. So this is the same one. So that should be in here, right? That's what I thought. Oh no, it's in here, right? Under site, form. Okay, that's where it should be. It should be down here somewhere. It's a form bonsai product. So this is it. This is it. Can't talk. Paste, form, bonsai product. Okay, this is some minified JSON that will create the exact form that we want. It's got like admin notifications, it's got card holder stuff. So this is the way. I'll just come back into We're gonna do product and just run that. Form updated successfully. Parameter errors unknown. Notification JSON parameter. Weird. So the second command didn't work. Unknown parameter. That might be because I'm missing some plugins, possibly. I'll look more into that later, but I think it should be fine. Because we have the form updated. So let's take a look at that. Sweet. So now we have a checkout process included here. And if we were on a staging server, we could kind of test this out. I'll show you guys a little trick with Gravity Forms so that you can kind of test it on your local server. At least it'll show it to you, because it's kind of annoying how it won't even show it, so you can't style it and stuff. I think there is another way to do it just manually every time by coming in here, and you've got credit card warning. Like if I remove that, but then it still doesn't show the form, so it's kind of a hassle to go through all that. Okay. So now I'm just going to take this checkout page and I'm going to start matching it to look similar to this. Now, the future's been using this checkout process for, well, you can kind of tell because you can see it's like the ID number of the teachable customer. So they were 112,000. Their server or their little environment was like 113,000 in. And check this out. I think that was a long ass time ago, because let's see if I add a 0 to this. Yep. This page does exist. Add another 0. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's try adding 200 there. 200,000. Oh, no. It's because I did the wrong URL. Let's check this out. Okay, we want to add the checkout to it. And then I wonder if this number is the product. We'll figure all this out. Okay, so that's the future. If we add a 0 to it, will it work? No. Probably needs the product with it. Try to add a 2 here. Okay, cool. That worked. If I add a 5 here. That worked. If I add a 9 here. Nope. 8. 7. Okay. Well, there's somewhere around 800,000 teachable environments spun up. The future is 112. So they got in towards the beginning. I'm sure they've been using this checkout process for 3 or 4 years at least, I'm guessing. So you don't really want to change anything drastically in terms of what people are used to and the process. Now, I've done enough work on high traffic websites and testing this that I've learned to kind of trust myself a little bit. So I might give myself a little bit of freedom there. Someone starting out, I would definitely tell them to be cautious, not just to go into somebody's onboarding or checkout process and start making huge changes to it, especially when it's design related, because design can really just be opinionated. Something might look better, it might convert worse. So better looking doesn't always result to better converting. It's best if something is established to stick with what they have really similar and then test from there. Most of the split tests that I've run on high traffic sites, my hypothesis will win. So I can usually say, okay, let's make this text, some important text, let's make that bigger, and let's make it a color that'll stand out more. Let's clean up some of the stuff that we don't need. Let's make it more readable, whatever. You can kind of assume a lot of that stuff. And once you've been running tests for long enough, you can kind of start to trust yourself a little bit more there probably. But in the end of the day, it still all needs to be tested and proven. So as much as I want to clean up this process and make it sexy and look a little more modern, I think my first version of this is going to be almost exactly this. So, this padding up here and this nav bar, that looks like shit. So I'll fix that. I think the gray background could be cleaned up. It's like a slight off-white. This formatting kind of sucks over here. I'll clean that up. I might even make it so these kind of condense like an accordion. You can collapse and expand them. Probably clean up these links, make those look a little more sexy, maybe put it in a button group or something like that. And I think we could also collapse this, clean that up a little bit. I don't think we want to add any links in the nav or the footer, because once someone has gone to the checkout process, you don't even want to give them the option of going somewhere else. Like, we might even make this unclickable. That's an option. I think the better option would be to make it blank target. So someone clicks on it, opens up in a new tab. That way they still have the checkout page opened. Everything here, let's see, there's no links. That's a mail to link. Those don't link anywhere. That's logged in. I don't think we're gonna need this part of the process, because you don't really need to be logged in during the checkout process. We won't need that at all for the first MVP version of the product. I think ultimately we could have some cooler stuff here in the sidebar rather than just testimonials, but since this is such a proven, established checkout process for them that's been running for years and generating millions of dollars, you don't really want to mess with it too much. So let's start with making this exact thing basically, and then if we want to make drastic changes, then we could split test it. That's the smart way to do it. But before we start doing that, let's see how long I've been live today. I'm gonna go take a quick little break, just stretch my legs and say hello to my girlfriend. Okie dokie. And we're back. Okay. So here's the thing. What we're doing right now is taking this page from Teachable, and we're going to try and replicate it as closely as possible, because as I just spent a few minutes explaining, this exact checkout process has netted millions of dollars of sold courses. So you don't really want to drastically change anything in a, if it's not broke, don't fix it kind of mentality. And I've been doing this long enough that I'm comfortable making a few design update decisions at my own discretion. I've done enough A/B tests and tested my hypothesis to know that usually the majority of the time my hypothesis will win out, because it's something really obvious, like this is hard to read, make it bigger, or make this stand out somehow. Get rid of this, we don't need this. That's usually what my split tests are. What can we get rid of? So I'm going to start with this exact design, basically update it a little bit to make it look more fitting into the Futures website, and then probably start removing things. Like, do these really help? I don't know. We'll never know unless we test. So let's get started. I don't have an SVG for the future. I've had to make my own a couple times, but now they have one on their new site, so that's good. Thank you. Save as SVG. We'll drop this under sites. Future site. Web app, themes, Bonsai, resources, assets. And instead of images, let's make our own called SVG. And we'll call this future white.svg. Okay. Now let's open this up in Illustrator. I haven't used Adobe for a while. Hope my subscription's still going. There we go. Alright, now we're going to want a dark version as well. What would the dark version look like? Okay. This is a PNG. Looks like it matches this color down here though. So let's take this box. Where'd you go? Footer, bottom. I'm just looking for a hex code. Here we go. So now I'll come into Illustrator and there we go. We're going to name this futuredark.svg. Okay. For those of you who haven't done SVG work before, I pretty much build all of my websites in as much SVG as I can. So whenever you think of using an image for like an icon or even this image right here, this is SVG, and what that means is a scalable vector graphic. It's basically code that the browser is rendering. If it's a fairly simple graphic, then it's going to render it way faster than an image could be processed or rendered in the browser. So it's mostly for load times. The other cool thing is you could scale it up as big as you want, and it's not going to get pixelated. So that gives you tons of flexibility. Pretty much everything on this website is SVG. I don't think there's even one image on here, which is really cool. That's not appropriate for every website. And this website, I'll probably eventually put some images on it, especially when it comes to like about pages, headshots of people, certain blog posts, things like that really need images. But for the sake of showing off a tech product, not having any images here is pretty cool. And I'd like to stick with that as much as possible, so we'll definitely be doing the logo in SVG, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Let me just clean some of these tabs up. Okay, so I have opened up Illustrator, created a dark version and a light version of the logo. That'll be useful. Now, if you've done the requirements part of this master class, during the speedrun, during the requirements, we install something called SVG Go or SV Go. If you don't have that installed, you can come to this GitHub repository. Ooh, the user organization is SVG. That's pretty legitimate. So you can install this by, let's see, how did I install it? Probably just npm install right here. Once that's installed, I'll show you how it's done. So I'm going to open up a new fresh window in my terminal, and I will take a similar directory to when we're going to do yarn start, but instead of yarn starting, we're going to go deeper into resources, assets, and remember that SVG directory we created. Did we? What did I mess up there? Okay, take us into Bonsai. And then we have resources. Oh, I forgot asset. No, it's assets. I could have sworn I just created an SVG full directory in there. Where are we in? Yeah. Assets. Oh, did I do that in images? I meant to do this under assets as its own directory. So that should work now. We have future dark, future white. You're on SV go. Then I think you can actually, let's back up. And we can do SV go SVG. That should do the whole directory. Yep. So that optimizes the SVG file so that it can be used inline in the website, which is how you get the best speed optimization. You can also animate the different things individually. It's awesome. You should really do it this way. So we've optimized it. It's really cleaned a lot of the Illustrator. It leaves a lot of metadata left in the code, so it cleans that up. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this folder. I'm going to open up my project, and this is like just some cheap hack that I do. I know there's a way that Blade does SVGs like really smoothly built in, but this is really not that bad of an option, so I'm keeping it like this for now. Oh, I already have this, so under views SVG, I'll just copy these two SVG files, and I'm going to paste them. I might actually do a new directory and call it future, just so I can stay organized a little more. And then I will paste these in here. That obviously was not right. Okay, I guess I'll do it in Finder since it's giving me a fuss. Okay, those are both in there. Now, we might want to do a little bit of adjustment, which will involve styling these a little bit, but let's just see how they're working for now. To use them, we have to do one thing first. Okay, we're going to use the dark one for now, so I'm going to duplicate it, and we'll call it .php. And then we'll come into partials, header, SVG logo. We'll do SVG, the future. I think it's called future dark. Right? Yep. Okay, we'll save that. I'm not certain I'm using this exact partial. Let's check. Okay, my logo's gone. And the dark logo's here. Okay, so this is where the process gets a little, kind of need to know what you're doing a little bit here. So what's happening is that, well, I'm going to assume what's happening. This SVG is here, but it's not visible. Now, if I open it up, we have, we only have one line here in the style. It's filling it as T0. That should be right here. So I think something is off with the sizing. One easy way we could do this is just change this back to logo, and then I'm going to find the logo. There's the PHP version. I guess under assets, SVG. Oh, I don't have it in there either, so we're going to duplicate it and call it SVG. Right click. Pull it up in Finder so that I can easily open it in Illustrator. You could open it in Sketch, whatever. Doesn't really matter. I found Illustrator is just like more documented, so I usually use Illustrator for web SVG. But I started using Sketch recently as well, and it works fine. Okay, so here we have the jackalope logo. I'm going to stretch it out. And I'm going to delete it. Come into recent files, future dark, does not exist. That's because it's hiding under assets, SVG, future dark. Alright, we're going to copy this, bring it over to this document, which will make it a lot smaller. That's the one thing I haven't really mastered yet with SVG, is like figuring out how the sizing of everything works, because it's scalable, so it doesn't really matter what size you make it, but I find if I make it small, it usually is a lot easier than big and trying to make it go smaller, if that makes sense. Okay, that's close. We want it to basically be the same height and like globally about the same size, just so that we don't have huge scaling issues. Okay, that looks pretty clean. Let's see if I can just bring this in a little bit. And we're clipping down here a little bit. Okay, that looks good. Now we will save this as logo SVG. I usually like to make a copy of it in the assets folder, since this is kind of hacky, but for now I'm just going to go into views, SVG, then we have future, svgo, future dark.svg, that'll optimize it. And now we will delete the, oh, why did I do that one? My bad. Back out of the future. We're going to do it to logo. svgo logo.svg. Okay. Now delete the PHP version. And duplicate the SVG version and call it PHP. Same thing, just a PHP compatible extension to make it go inline. So let's take a look. Still huge. It's almost like it's bringing in the old version. Huh. Just gonna do a hard refresh just to make sure it's not caching it. Okay, that's still not there. Let's make sure it really is here. Why is it not showing this? Okay, when something starts frustrating me, sometimes I like to just open up a code pen so that I have like a little sandbox to work in. M6.7. M6.7. That's it. No, that's with my GitHub. I think. I'll just paste this inline SVG real quick and make sure. Hey, look, it's me with a bow tie. Okay, new pen. I love CodePen. It's such a dope website. Okay, just gonna paste this right here, and it works. So there's some type of interference. Another quick thing I could try is just doing the logo again somewhere where it's not going to have any like containers. So I'll just put it right there. And it's working. So I think it's just a container that it's within. Let's try taking it outside of this container. One step. That was a 14-second compile while I'm streaming. That's pretty good. Not bad, not bad. Okay, that's not working. Let's take it out one further. And it's working. So, we found the culprit. MX5. Okay, let's put it back in here. And remove these classes for now. Okay, I think that's still working. So it's one of these classes. This is a custom class I made from Bootstrap. I kind of made my own little shorthands of some of their, because I started using Flexbox before Bootstrap integrated it. I kind of already had my own way of doing it. Okay, so it was that MX, so we'll leave that out for now. We can drop this back in here where it belongs. Okay, that's working all good. No, it's not. Where'd the logo go? Did we lose that again? Yeah, she gone. So we still have an issue within this. It's probably the brand class. Logo is still missing. So it's not the brand class. But for some reason when we put it in an A tag, it goes away. Suppose it could be some of that stuff affecting it. For now, we'll put it right here. We'll comment this out. And that should work for now. Right? No. I think earlier when I was working here, it was just, I don't know. Try right there. Okay, that is working. Flex SBC. So SBC is flex space between, and C is probably for like a vertical centering. Why is it doing space between? Oh, okay. So it puts them on different ends of the nav. It boom. Okay, first of all, why is this so big? I thought me putting it inside that other file would make it a lot smaller. Let's see if we can apply. I'm gonna open up. It's my original Bonsai, my example project. I'm gonna open up web app, themes, Bonsai, resources, views, SVG, logo, height 32. Okay, I forgot I added that by default. So let's come into logo PHP and add height 32. And while we do that, well, let's just test that first. See what that does. Okay, that's a lot more manageable. Now, let's try putting this back. There we go. Okay. And we can probably add a margin here. Let's try 3 maybe, 4. Let's try 5 at first. Weird. For some reason it's cutting off this button over here and showing the scroll bar. Do not like that. Is that from this? No. Why is that scroll bar here? Bug off. Okay, it's not cost from the logo, so we can fix that later. And right here, we're gonna do ML4. That's pretty good for now. I think that logo looks a little too big. So let's come into here and say, let's try 28. Let's try until it's too small. I think that looks pretty good. Let's see. On Webflow, it's probably bigger. $120 by 25, so we're exactly on. That scroll bar is really killing me. Okay. Start customizing the nav bar. For this checkout, it's going to be let's just do this in the CSS. So I'll come into okay, I'm going to create a new component in the CSS. So I close this up. Under assets, styles, leaf. Leaf is where all of Bonsai styles live. And we will create, under components, actually pages. Yeah, we'll do pages. We'll call it checkout.scss. And we need to include it. So I'm not going to be doing charts anytime soon, so let's do checkout. Oops, this is actually pages. Home. Okay, we do alphabetical order here, and that should be taking this now. So under checkout, we're just going to find WordPress will give this page a class here at the top and the body. So let's find it. It could be any of these really. let's do template-checkout. And inside of this, we're going to do, we don't want any of these. So these are under main primary nav. I'll just copy this, make sure, notice this is an ID. And I could do display none, or I could extend a class of, there's a screen reading one for accessibility for people that are impaired vision. For now, I'll just do dnone. So that's bootstrap class that'll tell it to display none. That way later I could come in and potentially do all those display nones as screen reader, accessibility. I don't know. See if that worked. Still compiling. Compiled, and that is gone. Notice we still have the login here. That's not doing anything. What is that page supposed to do? I don't need CodePen for now. Login. Yeah, I thought it was a modal window. But I would need... Yeah, that needs to be added to it. So I can add that later. Yeah, that's all good. This is just bugging me right here, so I'm gonna come into Atom, come into my assets folder. So styles, we're gonna go into scripts, routes, common. It's like a global JavaScript. And then instead of 1st of September, we're gonna put November. Save that and close out. And Yarn will compile that as well. Okay. Usually this would be hidden as well. I think. I don't know why that's there. Okay. So now the nav bar is really clean. If we wanted to do a dark mode, let's do that right now just for fun. So we'll come into okay, this is what I want to try is doing this within Leaf. So we'll do styles, Leaf, common, variables, no, under common, no, not even under common. Let's make it its own folders, own directory. So we'll call it dark, and then we'll create main, and then we'll create a header. Here's where we're going to start. I want to see if I can just do it as important CSS flags so that for now you can just enable it, which will make it a little more simple. And I can teach people how to optimize it later so they can get rid of the unused stuff. Okay, so under header, we're just going to use that color that we took from the futures. I don't think it really matters. I don't know if they have a specific gray. But yeah, this gray right here, this is the color of the logo currently. Might be a little darker than I'm wanting for dark mode, so let's just say header. That's the only header on this page. We'll just say header, background. Let me come in real quick to look at under variables, primary, secondary, link to color, border radius, bonsai. We have dark purple, darker. I try and use the default Bootstrap ones whenever I can, so I think what I've been using a lot is just like these grays. I used to create a bunch of my own custom ones, but that's because I didn't really know all these ones from Bootstrap very well, so I found the file they all exist in. And if you can just use the default ones, then it keeps your code a lot cleaner. Although they spell gray with an A, kind of bugs me. Okay, we'll try gray 800. I think that'll be closest to what I want. See how that looks. Oops. Gray 800. I'll just add this and see if it'll override it. I think I'll probably need to add an important flag. We'll see. It's better if I don't need to. Okay, that compiled. Header, background. Is there an additional one here? Huh. I'm not seeing it. Okay, we're in dark. It's because I haven't added this yet, so let's actually, well, this is inside leaf, so I think I'll keep this default, like, let's see, it'll go dark, main. We might even just be able to do dark. Let's do main first. Okay. And by default, I'll keep it commented out. And if you want to enable it, then you just uncomment it. Should go to dark mode. yeah, I'm gonna start leaning towards more of a dark mode with Bonsai. I wanted to do the first version of it like really clean, and now I can do a dark mode. That way I can kind of see them side by side, and I'm sure there'll be different use cases for each, but I'm excited to try it out. Okay, that's still not working. Header, background. Okay, it's still not coming in, I don't think. Wow. For now, let's just do this anyways. And then we'll also come into main and add dark, header. Oh, because I didn't set this up either. I'm silly. Okay. I think this time it should finally work. All right, what do we have here? I forgot that I'd made this transparent as well. So I might actually, is it transparent? No, that gray is just lighter than I was expecting. I did have it transparent. Okay, so what we're gonna do, let's find out header. Let's find exactly where we did it and copy that code. So under the header, this is what we had done. Copy that, come into Atom, and instead of this, do this. And instead of 255, change those to zeros. Now it's black with 0.98% opacity, or 98% opacity. I think that should look better. And then this should actually be easy to just take the logo PHP, call it logo white.php, and then there's a hex code somewhere in here. Right, yeah. So just change this color to FFF. And under header, we'll change this to logo white. Now we should be looking pretty good, I think. Still showing the dark logo. Why is that? And I think we want to make this more transparent as well. So let's inspect this right here. This is under style. Box shop. Where's it pulling this style from? That's weird. anyways, we can come in here and do 0.95, 0.9. Okay, 0.9 is probably looking a little closer. Oh, let me turn my screen brightness up a little bit. Oh, it's all the way up. Okay, 0.92. 0.9. I kind of just like 0.9. What's 0.88? It's a little too light. 0.9. That almost looks black. I like it to look as black as possible without actually being black. So let's try that. Oops. Okay. And then why is that logo not white yet? See, come into here, and there should be a hex code right here. It's still pulling the old one. I think it's just cached somehow, because actually I might have just updated the wrong one. No, there's only one header opened up, so that's got to be it. I think it's just cached. Let's give it a hard refresh. Come on. It's still the dark logo. Come on, come on, come on. Ooh. It is because I was using one. Because I created checkout layouts. Partials header. Okay, no, it's the same one. Logo white. Come on. If we come down here, logo white. Fill. What's going on? There we go. Bam. Okay. That's looking good. So I'm gonna take like a 15-minute break, and I'll be back. Actually, you know, I'm gonna call it a day. I think we got a lot of work done just kind of making this look like it's in the same ecosystem already. It already looks better than the Teachable one. And from here, we're just gonna make it look more futuresque. So, thanks for joining me today, and much love. I'll see you guys tomorrow.